morning. We are in Brooklyn, New York, and today we are going to cross the Brooklyn Bridge. We're going to walk over it, and as you can see, there's no bridge anywhere to be seen right behind me. That's because if you're going to walk the Brooklyn Bridge, you don't exactly start at the edge of the water. I'm at the corner of Adams and Tillery, and urbanists, transit lovers are not going to like this. The entrance to the Brooklyn Bridge is right in the crosshairs of two large roads. A lot of people have to get into the middle of this road to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. There's a pin on Google Maps that says the Brooklyn Bridge Promenade.
Perhaps we should promenade?
I guess this is what a modern day promenade looks like, smack in between two busy roads. I think that's a tour group, a biking tour group, since they all have the same colored helmet. And drag racing happening here. Already the promenade, our Saturday morning promenade, is going so well. You don't have to start here at this busy road. There are some stairs closer to the bridge, and you can also find that on the map. I don't really know why I started here, because this is the spot that I know best. I see a bridge up ahead. You might be thinking, that's our bridge. But no, that's the Manhattan Bridge. As we're getting closer, there's a separation between the bikes and the pedestrians. So this is the bike side, and I'm on the pedestrian side. Yeah, I remember there were bikes on this narrow lane where I'm at, but I guess they separated the bikes and the pedestrians. So this is great news, because before, bikers couldn't get through this. There's just so many tourists. This is a very popular thing to do if you're visiting New York City. And speaking of tourists, I know there are a lot of foreigners that watch this channel that are not from the US, and a lot of you either visit New York often or will visit or have visited New York. My question to you is, how do you deal with cell service? Do you get a SIM card? Do you use roaming? Because I know using a phone when you're traveling is very important. This day and age, you need a phone. You use phone to get directions to places. You use a phone if you need a share ride like Lyft or Uber. You use your phone for calling, texting people, getting data, using the internet. So this day and age, it's important to have a phone. So if you're a foreigner, you might experience problems like having no data or paying for roaming charges, or simply just not finding a vendor of SIM cards. So you might be interested in today's sponsor. Holify offers electronic SIM cards that keep you connected wherever you go. There's no need for a physical SIM card because this eSIM gets emailed to you. It's easy to set up so you can enjoy unlimited data with no roaming charges in more than 170 destinations around the world. And you can keep your phone number and physical SIM card alongside this eSIM. You can buy a 5-day plan or up to a 3-month plan. And even if your plan expires, you can refill it anew. Enjoy a 5% discount on any plan using the code URBANCAFFEINE or by clicking the link in the description. Thank you, Holify, for sponsoring today's video. So here is the Welcome to Brooklyn sign. The general tip is for people to walk from Brooklyn to Manhattan so you see the Manhattan skyline. Did you know when this bridge was first built, people were so scared of crossing this bridge? I mean, this was in 1884. Toilet paper was only invented 4 years before. So to just have this thing where you cross over water for over a mile, it's scary. People were in doubt. In fact, the opening day, when they first opened the bridge, there was a rumor that spread that the bridge was going to collapse, and it caused a stampede. 21 people died that day. This is very tragic. A year later, to put the fears to rest, the guy named P.T. Barnum from Barnum and Bailey Circus had 21 elephants walk across the Brooklyn Bridge just to prove that the bridge is strong. Guys, we're crossing into the 1800s. Another fact about the Brooklyn Bridge, which I think is funny, is during the first few years that the bridge opened, there were a lot of scammers trying to sell the bridge to people. They were convincing people that they could buy the bridge and charge people access to the bridge. That's where the saying, if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. That's where it came from. Behind me, you can see the Brooklyn skyline. And if you compare it to the Manhattan skyline, there's a reason why the tip is to walk from Brooklyn to Manhattan and not from Manhattan to Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Bridge was conceived and built by a man, John Augustus Roebling. And John Augustus Roebling was the daddy of suspension bridges. He built the Niagara Falls suspension bridge, but it's not there anymore. It's been replaced. But a bridge that's still there, it used to be the Cincinnati Covington Bridge. It's a suspension bridge, but they renamed it after him. However, Mr. Roebling was not able to finish the construction of this bridge. He got this disease that ultimately took his life. Towards the end, his wife, Emily Roebling, became a field engineer to help supervise and help him out with building this bridge. It's notable to say that his wife helped him out with building this bridge because she was one of the first, if not the first woman engineer during this time. This was the 1800s. After he passed away, his son, Washington Roebling, finished building the bridge. And this wouldn't be complete without the all-American flag. Oh, say, can you see? There used to be a lot of vendors here, but the city recently took them away, so there are vendors no more. So there's a lot more room for pedestrians. This used to be a very, very busy spot. But if you want some New York merchandise, you can check out my shop at shop.urbancaffeine.com. Right behind me is the Manhattan Bridge, and did you know all the bridges have pedestrian access and bike access? And technically, you can walk to every borough from Manhattan. The Staten Island one, there's a caveat to that. You have to take a ferry, so you can walk on the ferry, so you're walking to Staten Island. Check out these Staten Island videos if you want to learn how to ride the Staten Island ferry. And there she is, the Manhattan skyline. It's a shame that it's somewhat cloudy today. This would be beautiful on a nice, bright, sunny day or on a clear night. Walking the Brooklyn Bridge at night isn't a bad idea either because it's just the lights. The city lights are very attractive and it's very energetic. You can really feel the energy of the electric grid when you look at the Manhattan skyline at night. We got one pillar down and another to go. And I see there's some locks over here. This is actually not allowed because some people are concerned about the extra weight that the locks would bring on the bridge. I'm wondering if these are just leftovers or people just snuck them in. If you go to the Brooklyn Bridge Park, however, there is a spot where people do put locks and you'll see a lot of locks there. Whoa, I would not want to be reaching down there, reaching over there for these locks.
You don't want to put one out there?
Hells no. I'm already having a hard time as it is doing this video because for those that don't know, I have a fear of falling. It's called basophobia. It's not a fear of heights because I'm not afraid of heights. I've been skydiving before. I was on a plane when I was in the military. Heights don't scare me. It's the idea of falling that scares me. And actually, it's kind of rough for me being on this bridge right now because there's this both sides, it's heavy traffic, and you could fall at any time. Oh my God, and my camera person is showing me that you can see down. No, don't show me that. You could see through the slits of these planks. You can see the water. You can see the East River. You know what? I would be one of those people that needed elephants. I would have been one of those people that needed to see the 21 elephants that cross over this bridge. Now I'm halfway between the two pillars. the Skyline sends cable from here. And this is where there's a lot of tourists. Like seriously, a lot of tourists taking pictures. This is probably a big reason why they separated the bikes from the pedestrians and taken the vendors away. We are going to play Name That Building, starting with, there's One World, there's the Edge at Hudson Yards, super far away, but there it is, it's that pointy one. Then there's the Empire State Building, very classic. Right behind it is One Vanderbilt, where you can see the summit. And there's Chrysler right there. Good old Chrysler Building. This really is a narrow walkway. I can't believe this used to be shared between bikes and pedestrians. When you get off the Brooklyn Bridge on the Manhattan side, you're somewhat close to Chinatown. It's about a 15-minute walk from here. If you don't mind the walk, it's a good idea to get some dumplings. If not, you can easily take one of the trains at the end of this bridge to go anywhere else you want to go. But you're also in lower Manhattan. You can walk to perhaps Wall Street, like I said, Chinatown, Little Italy. And so we are in the Manhattan side. I feel like there's so many people, oh my gosh. People just put their camera gear and bags on these ledges. Ledges right here. They just put their camera bags, their backpacks. They can just fall over. Don't they know? Oh my gosh. This makes me nervous. People putting their stuff on the ledges make me nervous. Oh my gosh. The sound of New York City. As a reminder of where you are. Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. Can't say this enough. It really is a shame. There's so many cars on both sides. It really takes away from the scenic view of the brook. But what are you gonna do, you know? A bridge is passageway. It's passageway for pedestrians, for cars, for cyclists. And folks, we're leaving the 1800s. We're going from wood back to concrete. And we are officially in Manhattan. New York! Oh, there's a car. I heard my singing. Do you get arrested for having a bad voice? It's not really like a grand entrance into Manhattan once you get to this side, because like I said, it's just all traffic, just loudness from the cars. It's kind of anticlimactic once you get over to the Manhattan side. It's all the fumes as well. All this exhaust cannot be good for your lungs. I'm in Manhattan and this is officially the exit right behind me. And you remember those cars earlier? How did they get through? How did they get through this? There's no way they could have gone through that. And we're done crossing the Brooklyn Bridge. I know I complained a lot about noise pollution, air pollution, and how scary it is if you're like me and you fear falling. But I still recommend doing this because it is a fun thing to do. You see so much of the skyline. It's a great introduction to New York if you just moved here or you're visiting. Some of you have mentioned that I haven't been publishing as often, and you've noticed correctly that I haven't been publishing often. That's because some of these videos take so long to do and I really don't have that time. So I've reduced publication time to every other week. However, I still keep my weekly vlog on Patreon. Without fail, I publish on there every single week. They're mini vlogs. I talk about my business. I talk about being a creator. I talk about just things that happen behind the scene. And I also talk about ideas that I come up with. It's really random stuff. They're mini videos. So if you want more content, I have it on Patreon. You can check that out in the link below, and I have it on the screen as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, and if you have ideas for future videos. With that, thank you all so much for watching, and until the next video, happy New Yorking.